Welcome back to Arkansas Bigfoot, everybody. Glad to see you tonight. Think we might have to call this one Sasquatch in the Mist.
Sasquatch in the Mist.
I look around. It doesn't get any better than this for Halloween week. Atmosphere and weather.
I have to agree. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I thought we better get on with the bucket brigade before it gets much later tonight, and instead of doing it in the dark like the last time. So wanted to run over and check out Junior's little hideout first before we get on with it. We haven't been back there a few
weeks.
Yeah, probably close to that.
We heard some racket over this way the other day, so.
Well, that just looks like it's had foot disturbance there. Well, I hope everybody's got their popcorn balls and pumpkins all carved and everything ready for Halloween night. We're gonna come out here and see what wants to come out in the dark and play.
Yeehaw. I got scared.
Well, it rained, drizzled all morning, but I can see fresh foot tracks through this.
Just kind of flattened.
Came out a couple days ago in the rain. I didn't bring the camera. We needed to get the trees taken care of and left some stuff up there at that Union Jack looking thing, and of course everything's gone out of it. Look right here. Another big scuff there. All the way up. Oh, I don't see that metal board.
Oh, jeez. We're gonna have to find the new hidey hole. Maybe they're outgrowing this one.
There's a plastic jug. I don't see the gumbo canister back there though. Another little bottle, plastic bottle laying by that little log on the ground.
I keep watching for that blue ball. We haven't found it.
Well, that's all turned out. And
oh. It's pretty nasty.
I just watch, because sometimes the snakes will crawl up under those things to get out of the elements. Look at there.
Oops. Where'd that came from?
That's that old shirt that was laying over there on the log.
His bottle. Still there.
Pop bottle in his shoe. Hey. Ta-da!
I'm not quite naked. A little grungy.
Well, that's just not even fair. I was stripped naked and my butt was twisted backward.
Well, see, I don't have a way to twist me, and I'm still decently exposed.
Your face has been rubbed in the mud a little bit, but
I better put her back. Maybe that's Lily's.
well, there you go.
Well, at least I'm not lost.
I don't see that board anywhere or the magnets anyplace.
There's some, I think that's those original magnets.
Well, that answers that question.
It's just a few of them, though. I don't know. I bet the little ones are getting all up in Junior's stuff, and he's found a new hidey hole. Alright, well, a little grungy, but
You
safe.
want to leave them there for him?
Yeah, that's fine for now.
Alright. That little tangle of trees and brush there would be a perfect jungle gym for him.
That's what I was just thinking. I'm looking at the way they could climb all over that business. Especially those little ones.
Oh well, if a couple of skinned knees and a little dirt on your face is all there is, that ain't too bad.
No, I'm doing just fine. I really think that Lily probably had it, hiding it for a while. Probably took her. Junior got a hold of yours.
There's crows. That's kind of an interesting thing going on there.
Weird.
I made that video the other morning, brought my coffee mug out while you were babysitting, and had a few people want to know the story of how we kind of met and bumped into each other. One of them, and actually it was a really good question, asked if we had been born with veils. And yeah, that's kind of a weird thing that two people opposite ends of the country basically, and
Yeah.
same kind of situation, and meet like that. But
It wasn't really my mom that talked about it as much as my grandmother, but she was more superstitious, I think. And she didn't mention it often, just enough to let me know that it meant something. It wasn't until I was a lot older that I realized all of the superstition that was around it. But no,
I guess we kind of bumped into each other off and on and really didn't have much of a conversation, just kind of knew or were aware of each other for a little while. And
I was a kid working in a restaurant, and I remember you coming in. They had an old jukebox, and at that point I don't remember having seen you anywhere, but I hadn't been there for very long, and I lived outside of that area. But I don't remember ever looking so hard for 4 quarters for a jukebox as I did that night. And nobody had change, of course. And you thought it was funny because you had played some country. And I think I probably was wrinkling my nose up at the time a little bit because it was George Jones and stuff I hadn't been exposed to. But I didn't dislike it. I just wasn't used to it or wasn't aware of it. And I don't know, time went on, a couple months maybe. It was about the 4th of July, and we were at a big get together,
like a cookout party or something. But
I think it was a going away party for a young man that was going into the service, and you showed up that night to play. We enjoyed the evening, but as things progressed, I was kind of getting away from the element of the get-together and was going through a lot of transition myself at the time. And I think I was sitting out front on the steps of this place, and you'd grown tired of it a little bit, and you were getting ready to leave, and came over and sat beside me. And really, we hadn't conversed about anything yet. And I believe you said to me, kind of out of nowhere, you just looked at me and said that you just wanted to give me some advice. And basically, it amounted to not being afraid of pain or change. And it was ironic to me, considering you did not know me, to know that that was exactly the point that I was at with the situation I was in. And I don't know, you'd proceeded to kind of tell me some examples of when you had met those same things, and next thing I knew, we were
thick as thieves, I guess.
Yeah, talking on the phone, and back then we actually had landlines.
Payphones.
Yeah, I didn't have to use payphone. I was in the cool kids club. I had a real phone. But we'd talk for hours on the phone, it felt like. And I remember a couple things in one conversation. We were talking about, I think it was dreams. And I got to talking to you and saying that I had had a reoccurring dream when I was young, like nine years old. And it had lasted for a long time, but every night almost I would travel into this house. And I think
can't do anything without this helicopter.
Yeah. We'll wait for just a second here. But anyway, and talking about this house that I would visit about every night, started describing it, and I think I got to one room. We were talking about, I was talking about an old eagle claw bathtub that I saw and the floor in this bathroom and this old washstand with the pitcher and bowl on it and so on, and you stopped me and said, I'd swear you're describing the house I grew up in. So I'm kind of going through this, no way, typical kid stuff. And he said, no, it's right here in my mom and dad's bedroom at their house if you want to see it. So I think I ended up finally making that journey because I just didn't quite believe it. But prior to that,
There's at the old washstand and the pitcher and bowl.
Identical. Absolutely identical, and it was unique.
So that was you that was
Haunting
sneaking around haunting me when I was a little kid.
Boo. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But it was really neat. And then later I realized that I don't think yet at the time I knew exactly where that was, but I'd remembered when I was about 10 or 11 years old, Mom had taken us into town, and where this beautiful corner was, every time we went to town, we went down the main street, and I would just be fixated on this corner, and I would literally turn around in my seat of the car to be able to see it as far as I could. And one day we went through and they had caution tape and all kinds of stuff around this whole corner, and I was a pretty quiet kid, but I looked at Mom and said, what are they doing? I mean, I was just immediately upset when I saw it. She said, well, they're getting ready to tear all that down to build a bank. And I said, but they can't do that. You don't understand. And I was livid about it. She said, Rachel, she said, there's not anything that we can do. It's already a done deal. I said, but you don't understand, Mom. They can't tear it down. And I was just in tears. And I think after we had confirmed that it was the same pitcher and bowl and washstand, I found out where the house sat, and it was on that very corner.
Yeah, it was my house, and then I showed her pictures out of the photo album, and that verified everything. So. And
ironically enough, I quit having the dreams, but it wasn't until I was, it was probably another 8 or 9 years before I got confirmation of all of that and what it was even about. And it kind of, it kind of tripped me.
I don't know, so here we are hitting the 35-year mark and
I'm still haunting you.
Still haunting me.
God love you. I've often thought if there was only one thing I would ever like to have or acquire someday, it would be that pitcher and bowl and washstand.
Well, guys, we're going to set all this stuff up real quick. I'm going to turn the camera off because we've got quite a bit to mess with. I'll be right back. Alright, so we got them fully loaded up. Got their sardines going on, and popcorn and cereal and more cereal and peanut butter and apples and a few other little treats poked down in there. Kind of prepping up everything. We've already burned the herbs, and I've got my molasses sitting on the sterno over here. Get a little smell good floating around out here.
If needed, I might.
Make sure everybody's anchored in for Halloween night.
Yeah.
Well, let's get on back there and get everything else done and let them have at it. You were telling that story, and one of the things you forgot to mention was you spent the majority of your young years out on the West Coast, and I
Yeah.
spent mine in the Midwest, and you
Yes.
just come back and forth to visit, and
Yeah.
really weren't even aware of each other until we were already, what, 18 and 20 years old?
Yeah, I think I was. Yeah, that'd be right. Wow. Funny how things can seem like yesterday and a lifetime both. But yeah, we didn't know each other from Adam and Eve. And even in going to that area from the West Coast, I really didn't know a lot of people.
Well, that's all starting to make sense now when you tell on that, and I'm thinking about the little girl that would giggle, the little ghost apparition when I was a kid growing up.
Sorry.
That was probably you slipping around the house in the middle of the night.
Well, I sure didn't know it was a real place.
A little dream walking going on.
I did not know it was a real place that I was visiting.
Well, you're freaking me out.
Probably not the first time, and probably not the last. Isn't it funny? Because it makes you wonder then about a lot of apparitions that people see. If
Maybe
if
they're
it's
not
people
just
that are
dream walking.
dreaming.
Dream walking somewhere.
If it's more of an astral type of experience.
Well, if you want to head on up to the tree, I'm going to walk around over here for a minute and go check the wheel and all that. Well, the rocks are all down except for the big one. Guess they've been back here. Now we got 4 of them. Alright. Guess they've been back here making telephone calls. Well, the wheel looks the same, but I think your rocks gave birth to a 4th one. There's 4 of them back there now.
Well, let me see. Getting mushed on this. Somebody's sitting there. Sure are.
Yeah, that's not a piece off of one of them. That's
Wonder how that's getting so slanted.
Probably from banging on it.
Probably.
Well, it's kind of quiet out here. I hear that dog over there on the other side sounding off, so I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up and head back to the house, get some warm soup, and
get ready for the week.
yeah, we'll catch you guys down the trail. Thanks for stopping by.
Bye-bye.